Okay. My name is Irene Watson, and as a healthcare professional, my interest was in some medical facts. And so I did a little research on it, and I couldn't cover a great variety, and I'm not even going to touch the MBTE thing, but I'm just going to hone in on noise and emissions. So, according to Invenergy, they can meet the Burrillville noise ordinance at a level below 43 decibels. However, the experts the town of Burrillville hired indicated that that would be an impossible task. They reported that at an average runtime, noise could not be below 55 decibels, which equates to the sound of heavy traffic. And during startup and shutdown, which is about 2 hours each session, the noise level could be 80 to 90 decibels, which equates to a jet plane taking off. The expert indicated that the loudest times would be about 11 p.m. and 5 a.m., each for a 2-hour period. This is unacceptable to the quality of the life of the surrounding residents in Burrillville. The World Health Organization documents 7 categories of adverse health effects from noise pollution on humans. There is a general agreement that exposure to sounds above 70 decibels below 70 decibels does not produce hearing damage, and above 85, it is related to sound pressure and time of exposure. This would mean that Invenergy's bulk of time, though a problem, would not lead to hearing loss. However, the range of 55 to 85 decibels has been associated with primary sleep disturbance, resulting in mood changes, difficulty concentrating, anxiety, fatigue, especially in the elderly, young, and mentally impaired being at the highest risk. A growing body of evidence confirms that noise pollution has both temporary and permanent effects of endocrine and autonomic nervous systems. Noise acts as a biological stressor, causing reactions that prepare the body for fight or flight, responses making the cardiovascular system at risk, specifically raising blood pressure and heart rate. These results begin at 65 decibels. Sudden, unexpected noise has been shown to cause shift in electrolytes, increased levels of epinephrine and norepinephrine, and also cortisol. Rise in these levels correlate to heart disease, and studies do suggest that this biological response does not abate over time, no matter how long the exposure is. In simple terms, your body does not get used to it. The degree of annoyance produced by noise may vary by time. Intensity, duration, and controllability, or lack thereof, coupled with the individual's sensitivity. Namely, the young, the elderly, and the ill at Zambarano, which is just 1 mile north of the proposed Invenergy site, would be most at risk. So, overall, noise pollution above 55 decibels are a disruption of one's property, peace of mind, enjoyment of solitude, with suggested health risks as per the World Health Organization. Emissions. According to Invenergy's own proclamation, a gas-fired plant will result in a healthier, clean air by replacing coal plants elsewhere. I have this all documented on the bibliography where this has been stated. We, the people of Burrillville, tend not to hold that to be true. Indeed, like other Invenergy plants, the proposed air emissions will not exceed the EPA standards for air quality. However, according to Retro Gear, PhD of the University of Pennsylvania, if you live in a plume for 20 years, nobody knows what the guideline values are. They are just made up. You can't make experiments that go on that long. These guidelines and values are best judgments and not based on experiment. Previous studies have shown that among 90% of the residents within a 2 to 3 mile radius of a gas-fired plant commonly document symptoms of asthma, allergies, coughs, nosebleed, dizziness, weakness, and rashes. Birth defects and leukemia are also cited. Interestingly, the EPA standards were met in these cases above. The power plant that was studied responded that emission dispersal and dilution does not appreciably impact the air quality. Seems we have heard that before, right? Yep. Seems, however, Brown of Cohen UTN magazine notes that not all smokestack emissions go elsewhere. Weather variations alter wind direction, causing looping that brings plumes back down near the origin. Brown also states fugitive or fine particle emissions escape from other parts of the plant as well. Although the emission reduction credits purchased by a power plant to offset the carbon print may be hundreds of miles away, the concentration of the pollution is concentrated in the area of origin. Fine particle matter, PM 2.5, exacerbates cardiorespiratory ailments as well as linkage to potential harm to fetuses. Women exposed to high levels of particulate during their third trimester show a baby's risk of autism doubles, as documented in the Environmental Health Perspectives periodical, written by Harvard researcher Joel Schwartz. In New England, they also found increased rates of mortality all-cause for 65 and older age groups. According to the American Association of Nurse Practitioners Smart Brief of April 2016 and the Wall Street Journal, studies connect air pollution to cancer mortality and premature birth defects. A fine particulate matter study published in Cancer Epidemiology found that for every additional 10 micrograms per cubic meter of particle pollution, it translates to a 22% greater risk of dying from any kind of cancer and a 42% risk of higher mortality for upper digestive tracts. And I would just leave you this food for thought. Environmental expert David Brown, formerly Chief of State of Connecticut Environmental Epidemiology and Occupational Health Researchers, found frack gas infrastructures and predicts that they will eventually become Superfund sites. He states, seeing Superfund sites is the saddest thing because they are usually result from the oversight failures of local government. With that, I ask this oversight board to reject the application of Invenergy for the Clear River project.